Now, how do you track progressive overload during my training session? As of right now, it's really soon for us to say progressive overload. I will say for the first week is literally just go with the feeling of the session. Try to improve the weights on those movements that you got on the notes last week that you could maybe have gone a little bit heavier. But as of right now, I'm with my training forever, ever, because we are not basing these repetitions onto 1 rep max, and because we also basing how you're feeling on a daily basis. Of course, we want to make sure that we are able to hit around the weight that you normally lift, but it's also a lot to do with, did you sleep well the night before? If you didn't sleep well the night before, so let's make sure that the effort between the repetition range, meaning that if I give you a repetition range that is 6 to 8, then that is a hint that you should be lifting heavy. So last week you did 6 reps with 45 kg. So a way of doing a progressive overload of that will be either sticking to the 45 kg and try to get to 7 reps or 8 reps, or increase the weight and try to get to the 6 reps. However, because we did the bottom repetition of all the repetition range, so on these two, I will stick to the 40 kg that you did for 8 reps and try to get a little bit more reps with that same weight. That is one way of doing a progression of the load that you're doing, meaning that you are able to move that load for extra repetitions within that repetition range. If we already got to the bottom of the repetition range for a while, and we haven't, and we definitely cannot go anymore, like I'm saying, if you are being doing 45 kg for 6 reps for too long, and let's say 2-3 weeks, and it's a matter of fact that you cannot do 7 repetitions with that way, then you know that for the moment is going to be your max rep to lift on that lift. But if you are only stopping on 6 because you say, oh, you know, I 6 to 8, so I might as well just do 6, try to always push yourself to not having any reps left on the tank for the repetition range given. And that is how we're going to be basing on the progressive overload of this. However, you need to be mindful that as we do different programs on this process, you might notice that, for example, if lat pull downs are at the bottom of the workout, although you might have some exercise history on that exercise in particular, you might not be able to lift the same as you were lifting before, just because it's in a different part of the program, and maybe by the time you get into that program you are already fatigued. So this is where we need to become really autonomous into, okay, I have this repetitions range to reach, I need to make sure that I am not getting to the bottom of the reps just because I don't want to do more reps and I'm lazy and I just want to leave it there, or that I'm not getting to the top of the reps and I still have more reps on the tank. What do I mean with having more reps on the tank? Mean that if you get to the 12 reps and you still feel like you can keep going, then it means that you could potentially have gone heavier. So next week you're gonna try to go heavier, or perhaps you just do an extra set that is actually forcing you to stay between those repetition range. And if the opposite, if you go too heavy and you don't manage to get to the bottom of the reps, which is 6, then you know that you went too heavy, and so that is not the purpose of that that set in particular. Okay, so I know it's a little bit confusing. Normally people come to me wanting me to give them weights to lift. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works, because first, I used to do this when I was a personal trainer, but at the same time, and I didn't think that was the best thing to do, because I don't know how you feel it on the day, and I wanted to have more autonomy into how well are you able to lift that day. Also because it opens up the windows to welcome you to train, even when you might not be at your best of your abilities. Maybe you have a hard week, maybe you are tired because your period is on, whatever that is. At least you know how to guide the training, because you know that you are not letting any reps on the tank, or you are not going so heavy that you cannot reach the bottom of the reps. So just to This what I have just said, because I tend to talk a little bit more than what is needed. We will be learning together how to do the progressive overload. For the moment, I just want you to read the repetitions and the sets in a means that you know that 10 to 12 repetitions, you need to be doing 35 kg, for example. Last week you did it with 35 kg and you managed to do 12 reps, meaning that this week potentially you can start a little bit heavier. However, if you go for 40, you did 8 reps last week, so maybe if you start on 40, you try to see if you can get to 10, and that's how you kind of like start playing around with this, yeah? And so that's why it's so important that you always write on the notes, mainly for yourself, what has been happening with your weights, so you can always refer back to these notes the week that is coming up. Hope this is clear. If you need more questions, keep asking them. I love answering questions, and I might use this with the team. Bye bye.